field of politics.
Okay.
There continues to be a running feud between proxies of the state government, Governor Obaseki, and that of the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, the APC, Adam Oshiomhole. And this has somewhat divided the state in the realm of social media, in the streets, and almost everywhere. You know, it has become something of a do or die affair between both parties. What, in your opinion, has to give for peace to reign within the APC and within Edo State? Do you foresee a situation where one of them will have to leave the party, perhaps, you know, for proper peace to reign?
Politics has a lot of intrigues, especially as we approach an election. This is election year.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, by November 12th, we are going to have a new governor. And that will be by the grace of God. We are going to have a new governor, a new government. That will be by the grace of God, the governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, the current governor of Edo State. So the issue in APC, the issue in our party is not what we are not used to. Political parties have disagreements. Like I told, I think I had an interview like 2 or 3 days ago. I told, okay, it was a telephone interview, a TV station from Germany called. I told them it's just a disagreement. Families have disagreements. Even lovers, spouses, they have disagreements amongst themselves. And that is exactly what we are going through in Edo State. What we are going through in Edo State is just a matter of political disagreement. Policy somersault, policy disagreement, and the conflict of ideas. You have your ideas of how you think the governor can operate. Fine, I appreciate your idea, but I also have my idea of how I think the governor can operate. Fine, that is the governor we are talking about has his own idea. Even though he has been a very critical stakeholder in the immediate past Adam Oshiomhole-led administration, yes, he has become the governor of the state. He has his own idea of how he wants to run his administration. And you, because maybe you assisted him in becoming a governor, you now want to begin to load your ideas on him. Then there's going to be conflicts of ideas. That is just the issue.
There was some kind of a rapprochement reportedly brokered by the departed chief of staff of the country, Ewere, you know, and that led to Oshiomhole reportedly again avoiding facing the ignominy of being dethroned as chairman, in quote, as chairman of the APC. And when there was a press conference, you know, the immediate aftermath of his reinstatement, he seemed to toe so much the line of peace. And there were a lot of people who were happy, you know, that at last, peace at last. But at the moment, there seem to be some political moves and maneuvers going on behind the scenes for somebody to be thrusted into the race within the party to contest against the incumbent governor. And I think that's what the governor has not been so comfortable with. Do you think that that could eventually lead to a more serious crisis within the party?
I wouldn't want to talk much on the semi-discussion between the just departed chief of staff to the president, Ewere, of blessed memory, may his soul continue to rest in peace, and the national chairman of the APC, Comrade Adam Oshiomhole, and other stakeholders, because I do not know what their discussion was. So I don't know whether there was any discussion between them and other persons. You understand? What I can say is that Oshiomhole owes certain persons some kind of gratitude, because you and I know he almost lost his job as a national chairman. It was just a narrow escape. So, and we believe that it didn't just happen from the blue, that Oshiomhole was seemingly reinstated. So those forces that intervened in the reinstatement of Adam Saliu Oshomole. Oshomole owed them so much gratitude, because for the first time I could see an Oshomole having to depend on the pronouncements of the courts. I'm sure you saw the video where he was being interviewed. So what is he going to, National Chairman, what are you going to do now? He said the court has made a statement. Everybody would have to go home and wait on the court. For the very first time, we saw an Oshomole waiting on the court. But after some hours, we saw some kind of relief on the face of Oshomole and his supporters. You don't need a prophet to tell you that some discussions have gone down. Some agreements might have been made, even though you and I were not privy to the agreements that were made. I wasn't there wherever the agreements were made. But Oshomole owes some persons gratitude. Why? Because he almost lost his job on that day, but certain forces intervened, and Oshomole was seemingly reinstated as the national chairman of our progressive APC.
But do you worry that those same forces that reportedly saved him in court again, that those same forces could be behind the recent moves to throw up a candidate that could rival him, or that would rival him in the APC primaries?
That will rival Oshomole?
That would rival Obaseki.
Obaseki?
Yes.
No. The only candidates we have are the candidates we already know. We have Odudu, we have Ogemoyi, and we have Ewere. Ewere, you know, he's not a member of our party. I'm sure you are not aware. But let me make it clear to you, he is not a member of the APC. He doesn't own a party card, and he does not belong to the party. And you and I know that before you can run for any elected position, you must be a registered member of a political party. So where Ewere does not belong to our party, he naturally cannot run for the office of governor. Now we know that Ariane, Ogemoyi, and Odudu are members of our party. They might be having their issues in their EPM. We are waiting for them to settle their issues and then come out with a consensus candidate to contest with a performing Godwin Obaseki. That is what we are waiting for.
All right. I followed your social media post, your Facebook post, was it yesterday, where you claimed that Odudu and his camp would soon join forces with the government. And there was immediately a press release I saw somewhere from the Odudu camp. Debunking that claim. Can I ask you where your source was?
Anybody can come out to debunk. It doesn't actually make the earliest statements completely untrue.
Well, what was your source?
My source of that statement is a reliable source from the Odudu camp. Some persons in that camp might not be aware. You don't expect Odudu to come out publicly or on the social media to come and debunk such statement personally. Yeah. There are supporters there are overzealous supporters, even though they are aware of certain things. Yeah. They still want to give other supporters some flare of hope that we are on ground. But we know that the actual principal who holds the yam and the knife is under pressure, and he's trying to see how he can unite with Governor Godwin Obaseki for his second-term ambition.
That's very interesting.
Thank you so much.
Looking at Governor Obaseki, what do you think is the major plan for his re-election pitch? Is it in the area of educational, manpower, or economic, or is it infrastructural development? What do you think is his major pitch?
I think the reason we are rallying behind the Governor Godwin Obaseki for second term is not because maybe he gives us money. You and I know the governor does not give money, and that is not why we are rallying behind him, that maybe in second term. No, we don't care about that. Look at our educational system. The first time in the educational in the educational life of Edo State, parents are withdrawing their children and wards from private school to register them in government schools. The first time. So when you have a governor who has been able to set this kind of pace, The natural thing to do is to support such idea, is to support such policy for sustainability. Because such policies are likely to go down the drain. But it has to do with sustainability of ideas. When you are able to rally people of like mind together to help you to push your vision, there is a high possibility that that vision will last long. But when you have a change in policy development and implementation, it is going to be difficult for your ideas to stay. It can only stay for a while. But actually, they will fizzle out because the next man is going to also come up with different ideas. So look at infrastructure. Some roads that you are unable to before now plan are now motorable. Cars can drive on it, human beings can walk on it. They are okay. Look at industrialization. There is a production center here on Sapler Road, a good production center. The palm slippers I wear in my house, I have 3 palm slippers. 2 of those 3 palm slippers, I bought them at a good production center by an Edo youth who was able to quickly key into the Obaseki industrialization vision. And today the man is able to take care of himself. I mean the youth who now makes shoes for himself in the EPC, Edo production center just here on Sapler Road, after Santana Market, where you have the magistrate court. So people are now able to sustain themselves with those little business. Go to Wadna in Idogo. You have the industrial estates there. It's under development. Go to a motor housing estate in Egba, it's Ikobaha. You also have the housing estate there. People are able to live there. They are able to acquire properties, develop, and live in the place. Go to Benin Technical College. Go to Innovation Hub in Wire Road. So these are ideas that the governor has been able to put up. And we as a people, a development-driven Edo people, we appreciate him. So we are helping the governor to push all these ideas so that they are able to be sustained. Okay. And only a continuity government can sustain these ideas. Otherwise, if the government is truncated, at the end of the first step, my brother, we are going to go back to Egypt. And in Edo State, there is no going back to Egypt.
Okay, one last question for you. You have been a fervent defender of the state government and the state government on social media. And I noticed that social media discussions regarding Edo State politics has degenerated to the very personal, where there are a lot of personal insults and all that. And you have been at the receiving end of a lot of it on social media. And I noticed that you respond with a certain level of calm. But tell me on the personal level, privately, how much do you feel it when people go very personal in abusing you regarding your views?
If causes kill, I'm sure myself and some other people on the social media would have long been dead. But because of my upbringing, I don't really see those things as too important. You have your page, I have mine. He has his, they have theirs. So you decide consciously, subconsciously, or consciously how you want to manage your page. I have decided to manage a non-violent system and platform. In 2016, myself and a few other compatriots, we threw up ICPK, I condemn political killings. And that particular movement led to a non-violent election of 2016, where we almost could not record bloodshed, political violence, and killings. So we credit that non-violent political era in Edo State to the movement that we threw up. That was my brainchild, myself and 2 of my compatriots. So naturally, I'm a calm person. So when I find myself in a pub, whatever you see I do online is just a clear reflection of what I do on the ground. So I don't insult, I don't go violent. So a lot of people insult you on the social media. When they see you online, they are even scared to say good morning because they now see that you and him are not at par at all. but we must continue to carry everybody along. That's what actually makes you a leader.
Okay, Mr. Sosa, I must thank you so much for your time. I must thank you for the insight and your views and for the education you have given us as regards the local government's efforts to combat the coronavirus crisis in Ipobalka local government. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.